Well, thanks so much for joining us for this edition of Making Sense, where we talk about our finances, our financial institutions, the current trends, as well as what's on the horizon. We're joined by Justin and Alex from Forest Area Federal Credit Union. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us. Today's topic is scam and fraud prevention. What can we do? And this is timely because this is International Fraud Awareness Week. So it's great that we're talking. Thanks so much for being here, gentlemen. All right, so I'm going to throw this out here, because we all hear about scams, but what is the most common type of scam that's out there right now?
Yeah. Well, one, scams are all around us. Really just need to be aware, need to know those warning signs. And, I hate to say question everything, but really, when it comes to your finances, your personal identification information, go ahead and take a moment to question things. But according to the Federal Trade Commission, right now, investment scams are the highest reported fraud in the year 2023. The results for 2024 aren't completely out yet, but over 4.6 billion with a B, dollars were reported as losses in the year 2023 from investment scams alone. So that's definitely an area to keep an extra eye on. If you're into investing activities of various types, make sure you know who you're dealing with, so that you don't fall victim and become and be part of that $4.6 billion that was lost in 2023.
You're absolutely right. The old adage used to be, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And that's what we used to use as a litmus test for, well, this is probably a scam. But now the things they don't even have to sound that good to be true, right? Like these things could be legitimate. They're not promising us the earth and the moon, but this could still be a scam. So that notion of, guilty until proven innocent, probably in our day and age, not a bad approach to take.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is just really incredible how good these fraudsters, these scammers have gotten at appearing to be someone or something that they're not.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned, go ahead, Alex.
I was just going to say on that note, I mean, as we talk about investment scams, the one that comes to mind for me is the FTX scam, the cryptocurrency stuff that really came to light last year. Sam Bankman-Fried, he got over $10 billion, and they actually had an arena. The Miami Heat arena was named the FTX Arena. So that's just the type of scam that looks like they looked very real. I mean, you had celebrities that were duped in that one. I mean, Tom Brady is a name that comes to mind as someone that was involved in that scam. So they can look very, very, very real. You just have to be very careful with the individuals that you're dealing with. Do some background on it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So we said investment scams.
Mm-hmm.
Not probably many of the people that are watching here have Tom Brady kind of money. So they may not be targeted in the same way. Mm-hmm. But what are we talking about with an investment scam? Simplify it for us. What is an investment scam?
Well, oftentimes what happens is you're approached in one way or another. It might be a phone call, a text, an email, a website opportunity that looks very legitimate. This looks like a legitimate company or platform, and they're sending you this information and giving you an opportunity to get involved. And they will make their websites, their tactics look very convincing. They can even clone the likenesses of people that you may know, or political figures or sports figures, and lure you in that way and really make this opportunity look legitimate. They can even go as far as showing graphs and statistics to show you what the performance is, and they lure you in that way, and they may get you to send a little money in to get started, and then they start showing you how your investment is growing, and they show you again more of these statistics, and then they ask you to invest even more because you're doing so well. You're like, why wouldn't I invest more, right? They call that tactic pig butchering because they're fattening the pig. They get you in, you invest a little bit of money, they show you illegitimately that your money is growing and you're gaining really well. So they get you to invest more, and then maybe you hit a number that's predetermined in your mind or something. Anyway, you take an opportunity to say, hey, I'm going to cash out, and there's nothing there to cash out. And that's when you realize this was an investment scam and your money's all gone. So when you are faced with, if you get a solicitation, a text message, an email, and sometimes these things can even come from friends and family, or it can appear that they're coming from friends and family as, hey, I got involved in this. I did really well. I want to share it with you type things. And it looks like it's your friend's email address or somebody that you know or have known of. And it pulls you in sometimes. It is really important to take a step back, to maybe even do some Google searches, see if this is a legitimate company, see if it is, does the Google search take you to the same link and web page as the one that you were solicited with. And but never, if you're not sure, make a phone call to a trusted advisor, reach out to somebody else, or plain just don't do it if you are not absolutely sure. Because in this day and age, especially with how easy it is to move money around electronically, as soon as you send it out, if it's not a legitimate place, you're likely not going to see that money back.
Yeah, that's where the old term Ponzi scheme came from, right? I mean, that's right. The money goes into one bucket and then the money never comes back out because they've already done what they're going to do with it. And so they don't have the money to give it back to you once it's done. And they just, like Justin said, the graphs, they just make them up to make it look like you're actually doing well. And in reality, the money's not doing anything. It's gone in their pockets.
So again, we're in a situation where this has evolved over time, how good they've got. We used to be able to spot scams because there was bad grammar, misspelled words. It was sloppy looking. But for these scam artists, the work is not in producing the results of making money grow, right? The work is in perpetuating the scam, right? So they're putting all their effort into making their graphs look legit, making their website look professional. It's all to get your money. That's where their work ends, right? So they've really gotten that much. I'm asking, they've really gotten that much better at getting your money.
Yeah, they've got all kinds of tools available to them. I mean, you talk about bad grammar. They've got tools like ChatGPT that you can type in what you want it to say, and then it just spits it all out for you with the correct grammar. So like they don't have to even really think about it anymore. There's just so many tools that are available to them that they can utilize to make it seem even more legit. Even if they don't speak English very well or whatever have you, they can find ways to make it sound really, really, really enticing for people.
The illusion leads to the payoff. All right, so that's out there, and that's a big 4 billion with a B, right?
That's right.
So if $4 billion, if it's a $4 billion scam business, if you will, probably means that an awful lot of people are at least being exposed to these kinds of scams, if not falling victim to them. So let me ask a question first. Is it easy? Because I don't want anybody that may be watching this to feel bad that they got scammed. Is it easy to get scammed?
Sadly, it is, Mark. And that's to your point there. People do feel ashamed when it happens and they just don't want to talk about it. But it happens to significantly more people than you would ever expect. I mean, your neighbor next door, yourself, like it happens to more people than what I wish would happen. Like there's so many people that get scammed by it. We see it every day.
Oh, that's tough. So, all right. So if you are one of those people, and I'm sure that there are an awful lot of people that suffer in silence, that, you know, they're embarrassed, or they may feel guilty because the greed got a hold of them a little bit or something like that. What do you do when you realize it's a scam? What does somebody do?
Well, there's definitely a number of things that you can do. First, take a moment to protect what you have. Reach out to your credit card, your financial institution, whatever items you have in your wallet or your purse that have been affected, and make sure you get safeguards put in those right away. On the broader scale, The FBI has a website where you can file complaints. It's the Internet Crime Complaint Center, and their website is ic3.gov. So IC is in Internet Crime, the number 3.gov. On their homepage, there's a big red button to click. It says file a complaint, and that's where you can go in and file the complaint. And this, believe it or not, I mean, you think, oh, I'm going to file a complaint on an FBI website. They use this data, whether or not, you're not going to get a recovery on anything if you don't take these steps, right? So take the time and do it. But they also use this information to help recover funds and to help investigators learn about the things that are happening, the new ways that they're happening, so that they can help implore all of those involved in getting awareness out and finding ways to stop some of these things that are happening. And in fact, it's National Fraud Awareness Week. Their slogan and theme for the week is share a story, stop a scam. Mm-hmm. And what they found is that there's thousands of people that have been scammed that don't report those scams due to embarrassment or shame. And really what they're telling us is share your story, file those complaints. The more complaints, the more information that's out there, so that we know what scams are happening and how they're happening, the better they can work on combating them. So, over 2.6 million people in the U.S. Were reported to be scammed in the year 2023. If each one of those, or a good portion of those, could share the details of what they were involved in on the FBI's website, ic3.gov, that's going to help them combat those things that much more. And again, these scammers are so sophisticated, using artificial intelligence and other high technologically advanced resources to get at us. The more that we can file those complaints so that they can look into the details of how those scammers were trying to execute the heist, the better they can do to help us all avoid them.
Yeah, on top of that, it's also a good idea if the scammers are using your financial institution to report that to your financial institution, because you're probably not the only one. If they say, hey, you're from Forest area, you bank with them, give me your information, let us know how they're doing it, because then we can get alerts out to all of our members and communicate what's going on. So then, again, share your story. We're able to let them know what's going on so they don't get scammed as well. So it's super helpful if your financial institution's involved, let them know for sure.
It could stop. It may not, you may not get your money back, but it could help the next victim. Absolutely. And it's evidence and information for investigators that could be helpful. To express the seriousness of this, not to crush anyone's hopes and dreams, but recovery of these funds is very, very low, right?
It is. And the fraudsters know what they're doing, unfortunately. Right. They find ways to have payment made to them in ways that are not traceable. And so what they do is they say, well, send it to me via cryptocurrency, or go to the store with cash, buy X amount of gift cards, scratch off the gift card codes and send them to us. And at that point, they're no longer traceable. They've redeemed those gift cards and they have the cash and they're moving on, and there's no way to trace who got those gift cards. So they're very good at what they do, and they have ways to make it so you can't get that money back no matter what you do.
It's almost like the victim is doing the money laundering for the fraudsters, right?
Absolutely.
Yep. How important is it? We've reported stories and we hear about these, they see gas station clerks that say, hey, you're buying an awful lot of those gift cards. Why are you doing that? Kudos to them, because they have stopped an awful lot of the, well, I need this for this. No, that's a scam. Stop that. How important is it? And victims are all age demographics, so I'm not pointing somebody out, but how important is it that we talk to, I'm picturing my mom. How important is it that we talk to my mom and everybody's parents out there who maybe grew up in a time where this wasn't a concern? Is this a conversation we need to have with both our kids and our parents?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, to your point there, they don't discriminate based on age. I mean, they don't care if they're going to get their money. It doesn't matter. But yes, talking to kids, talking to parents, absolutely. We had a younger individual here a few years back that they received an email from the CEO and were asking to receive gift cards from them, and it took them a while to realize. It took one of us asking them, like, why are you sending these gift cards? Like, what is going on? Well, he's out of the office and he needs these gift cards right away. Okay, did he really? Like, how did you get this message? So it doesn't matter what age. I mean, anyone can fall for it because these things can be very, very, very believable.
They just cast out a huge net and hope to catch a fish.
Absolutely.
Ooh, that is rough. All right, with the holidays coming up, do scams evolve around the holidays?
They sure do. And we've gift card scams is certainly a big one. We've talked about that already today quite a bit. Online shopping scams are another. That's another case of where you really need to make sure that if you're doing online shopping, you're doing so from a reputable company, and that double check how you're getting to their websites. Double check the payment methods. Do they seem reasonable? Because so often a scamster can hide behind a big corporate name and make it look as though you're dealing with them. Maybe they sent you that message, email or text message, so you click on their link rather than the true retailer's link. So keep an eye out for that. Another big one we see are fake delivery notice scams. And
Yes.
Personally, I get these on my personal text messages, right? It's always, oh, there's a delivery at your house that I wasn't expecting, or there's a delivery that's held up at the post office or at one of the shipping companies, right? You need to click this link because there's a problem with the delivery. And as soon as you click that link, it's going to take you somewhere, ask you for additional information, and they're really just trying to reel you in and get access to your information. So I'm personally, just because I've seen more of those fake delivery notices myself than probably anything else on my phone, I'd keep an eye out for those. But you know what? Holiday, it's a high volume shopping time of year. We have a lot of people out doing that, and it's a happy time of year, right? People look forward to these things. So we're out, we're having a good time, or we're at home having a good time searching for these deals and looking for gifts for our loved ones. So really be careful not to fall into any of those scams while you're out there shopping for your loved ones this holiday season.
Yeah, we've had a new one that we've experienced this year, Mark, and with people shopping, I mean, number one retailer is Amazon, right? We've been getting calls from our members saying that they've been getting calls from Amazon saying that they've got a package that they're ready to send out. And then when the individual says, oh, I didn't order that package, you say, oh, well, do you bank at Forest area or insert financial institution here? Well, they say, well, yeah. They say, okay, well, let me get you over to your headquarters. So then they transfer the call, and they actually have taken our on-hold music. Like, they've called into us, they've recorded our on-call music, and they've inserted that. So they actually think they're being transferred to our call center, where they're then being asked for their financial information, because they then believe that it is us because it's our actual on-hold music. So just be aware, if you get a phone call, we're probably not calling you about a package delivery or any financial institution calling for that. And they're probably not going to transfer you over to your financial institution. That they would say, well, call your financial institution and ask them what's going on. So that's a new one that we've heard, and it's around the holiday season when people are buying their packages from Amazon. They're definitely exploiting that at this point in time.
I mean, it's never justified to victimize somebody out of their funds, but around the holidays, when we are all frazzled and running around and stressed and doing a million different things, and we may not be completely focused on all the details, when somebody's like, hey, that packet, that feels really icky. That seems and super easy for someone just to be like, I probably did, or my significant other probably did, or somebody in the house probably did. So we need to get stuff done because it's the holidays. So I could see where that could definitely hit hard. Why are we seeing such a big increase in this kind of behavior, this kind of scam, or these kinds of scams?
Well, lately, artificial intelligence has been behind the largest increase because artificial intelligence has become very sophisticated, where it's become virtually impossible to tell the difference between an artificial intelligence communication versus a real communication. Uh, the fraudsters are able to take my voice, for example, and if they can pick up just a few words out of a sentence on a phone call or other method, they can take those few words and then construct their own complete sentences using my voice and my likeness and use that maybe to try and exploit or scam somebody that knows me. So it's that has been the leading area of increases in fraud is using that AI technology against people. So it's pretty crazy. And a couple of things that I'd like everybody to think about to help protect them against AI related type scams is first, don't respond to friends requests from famous people on social media. It's usually pretty unlikely that unless you personally know them, that they're going to reach out to you that way. Secondly, if a relative is calling you and saying that they're in an emergency and they need money quickly, our recommendation is you hang up the phone and you call that relative back by going into your contacts and calling them from the number you have on record from them. Even if it came in looking like it was their number, scammers are using spoof numbers and spoof technology to make it look like a call is coming from a particular number. So you need to dial it back direct from the number you have on record. Do not hit redial. And then, of course, when someone is asking for money quickly in obscure forms of payment, such as gift cards, don't trust it. Out of all the scams, that is the most unrecoverable method of all. So keep an eye on the things that could look like or fit the mold of an artificial intelligence type spoof, because that's what's being used most often these days.
On top of AI, there's a whole lot of automation that's available to these individuals as well. So the AI stuff is really good, but they also can send out mass text messages to thousands and thousands of people, cast a very, very large net that they never used to be able to do before, and see how many they can hit. So if you send out 1,000 text messages, you get one. Well, I'm just going to send out the next batch here in about 5 minutes and send out the next batch. So the automation stuff that they've got is ridiculous. And the amount of phone calls that they can make with robocalls until they actually get one that answers, like it just speeds up their process of being able to get to a person faster versus having to pick up their phone and dial it and then finally get someone 3 hours later. Like they've simplified the process significantly, which is unfortunate.
It's become passive for them. It's like ice fishing, right? Like until the flag goes up, you don't really have to do a whole lot, right? But then, you got somebody on the line. It's amazing how when we've reported stories on scams and stuff, or, the advice from companies is now like, well, we will never ask you to do this. Somebody scams somebody posing as the power company or something like that. And we will never threaten to shut off over the phone without previous mail, or we'll never ask for that information over the phone. Does that go back to if you are text something or get a phone call or get an email, go back to the source? You mentioned that, Justin, that how important that is to, if it is a legit place, they don't have a problem with you hanging up the phone and being like, okay, you know what? I'm going to call you right back. Hanging up the phone, going to what is the number and doing that and seeing what their policies is. That sounds like that could help with a lot of these places that especially are posing as institutions or name or identity stealing from someplace legitimate. Just getting back in touch with them that way seems like that could help prevent a lot of these scams.
It absolutely can. I mean, yes, take that moment. It's generally never that dire that you have to rectify the situation over the phone with that caller. No, hang up, call back. In fact, even in our own credit union, that's how we become aware most often of some of the scams that are going on out there. Our membership is they're calling in and saying, hey, I got this phone call and I didn't feel right about it. And so we talk to them about it. We say, tell us more. Tell us about that interaction. What happened? What time of day was it? Where did they call in from? All of these things. And then we start really investigating and finding out. And it's so surprising when we get those calls right in our institution. Usually there's 2 or 3 more right behind them calling and reporting the same thing. So we do know that there are a lot of consumers out there that are aware of these things and keeping an eye out for it. But there's also those that are falling for it. So please, if you get a concerning call, take a moment, call back directly yourself. In fact, even if it's late at night, after hours, take the time to do it. Hang that phone up, call back. Many financial institutions and places, we have after hours call numbers. We've got information online. We've got resources online, so you can click the button and at least make us aware, even if it is after hours. If we don't have somebody on staff right at that moment, we're going to be able to look at it in the morning and know that that somebody's experienced something that felt out of the normal for them, and we can get to work on it and making sure that they're protected.
And businesses, legitimate businesses, I'm asking, legitimate businesses are not going to be offended if you're like, I don't feel right about this, I'm going to hang up and call back. They're not going to be like, well, that's it. We're not going to. They're probably used to, if it is a legitimate thing and you just don't feel right, it's better to offend. And they're not going to be offended by it. But you calling back, and even if and confirming something, because these scams are so prevalent, legitimate businesses are okay with that, right?
I'll go as far as to say that probably will be thankful that you do that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so don't worry about offending your financial institution by being like, I need more information on this, because if they're legit, they'll have more information. They'll be like, why don't you come on into our branch and we'll sit down and talk about it, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And we love to be able to educate people on this. So we want them to be able to come in, sit down, let's have a conversation, and then they can go share it with their friends to tell their story, to be able to help even more people. So 100%.
When in doubt, trust your gut, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right. And if you need help, figuring out something is a scam, where do you go?
I think you kind of touched on it there. I think you go back to the source. You talk to the vendors or the places that are trying to get a hold of you, and reach out to them, whether it's Consumers Energy, your financial institution, Amazon, whatever, and talk with them. And then if you need more help, reach out to your financial institution before you start scratching gift cards and sending out money that will never be returned back to you.
Oh, that's heartbreaking. All right. So especially this time of year, push pause when you can, do a little investigating on your own. Talk to people in your life that you feel may not be up to speed on this stuff, so that nobody, or as few people as possible, become the next victim, right?
Absolutely.
All right, Alex, Justin, I want to thank you guys so much for your time. I hope everyone that tuned in learned some important things and has some important conversations with people and doesn't fall victim to the scams that are certainly out there growing. Gentlemen, thanks so much. We'll see you in a little bit.
Take care, Mark.